So hey there guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be doing a detailed review of the TVS Apache RTR 204V BS6 Matte Blue Edition. So what I'll do basically is that I'll give you a quick overview. I'll give you the specification and features of this motorcycle, and I'll also share with you the riding experience and my first ride review of this bike. So without wasting much of a time, let's get started. So directly coming to the engine specification of this motorcycle. So this bike is having an oil-cooled 4-valve single-cylinder 197.75cc fuel-injected engine that produces a max power of 20.21 PS at the rate 8,500 RPM and a max torque of 16.8 Nm at the rate 7,500 RPM. Then coming to the wheels of this machine. So it have the 17-inch alloy wheel on both the front as well as the rear. It has 90 by 90 section tubeless tires on the front and a 130 by 70 section tubeless tire on the rear. Now coming to the braking of this motorcycle, it has a 270 mm disc up front and a 240 mm disc on the rear. And you should also know that this bike comes with a dual channel ABS. So on safety, I'd say TVS has done a very good job. So now coming to the tank capacity of this motorcycle, this bike has a 12-liter fuel tank and you can expect a mileage of around 37 kmpl roughly. So if you ask me the tank range of this motorcycle, then it gives you around 440 to 450 kilometers per tank. So I'd say that's huge. Now this bike says that it has a 2.5-liter reserve tank. Now this is a FI engine. Okay, the transmission of fuel to the engine is fuel injected. It's not a carbureted bike. Okay, what's that? Screaming. Oh my god. Let me get back to whatever I was. Yeah, so this bike says that it has a 2.5-liter fuel in reserve, but this is an FI engine bike. Okay, this bike is fuel injected. It is not carbureted. Carbureted bike has a knob over here in case if your bike falls in reserve. In carburetor engines there is one main tank and a reserve tank. In main tank there is 10 liters of fuel capacity and 2 liters stays on the reserve. So here it's baseless to say that this bike has a 2.5-liter space in reserve tank. This bike doesn't give a knob of that sort. So the next thing that I'll say is about the gearbox. This bike comes with a 5-speed gearbox and that's very smooth, I'd say. The shiftings are very smooth, it's not clunky. Now I'll say about the clutch. The clutch, this bike offers you a slipper clutch, so there is no wobbling around in the roads at high speeds. You can easily shift the gears down without any kind of hesitation. You won't fall or your wheels won't lock. Now another thing that Apache added is that adjustable brake levers, brake and clutch levers. You can adjust according to your length of your hands or fingers. Okay, the next thing that I'll talk with you is about the seat of this motorcycle. So the seat is well padded and cushioned, and also you can see the design of the seat is also quite modern. And it's quite soft, okay, compared to other bikes like the Pulsar NS200 and other like Duke 200. Those seats are much stiffer and this is quite soft, so it won't be much of a problem in long rides. It won't pain much of a lot. So the next thing that I'll add is the console of this motorcycle. The instrument console of this motorcycle is very advanced. It supports Bluetooth connectivity, and here you can see a mode switch. Basically this bike have 3 riding modes. One is rain, second is sport, and the third one is urban. Okay, so if you need to experience the full power of this bike, then you have to ride this bike in sport mode, and if you ride this bike in urban mode, then you get roughly around 17 bhp. You won't get to feel the power of 21 bhp or 20 bhp. You'll get to feel the power of 17 or something bhp, like that. So that was a quick overview of the motorcycle. Now I'll share with you the first ride review of the bike. thing that I would like to say is that the riding position of this bike is very upright and straight. You don't have to lean or you don't have to go back. Okay, it's very straight and it's very comfortable, I'd say. And I also mentioned the seating and cushioning of the seat of the bike is very soft. Okay, it's well cushioned, so you don't have to face much of a problem in long rides. Okay, you will not have pain in the back. So that was the riding posture. The next thing that I'll add is that this bike gets LED headlights. Okay, the front setup is LED and also there is LED backlight. Leaving the indicators, it's bulb. So the LED headlight is also quite bright, though I don't like the shape of the headlight, but it's quite bright and provides sufficient amount of light. According to my opinion and my taste, I personally like the previous generation headlights. Okay, that look much better. See, it's according to me, it may vary from person to person. Currently I'm in sport mode. As I've said, in sport mode you can unleash the full power of this motorcycle. So let's see. Come on, one more gear, come on. So here lies a major problem and a drawback of this machine. This machine has got only 5 gears. So when you are riding at high speeds, when you are touring, so the 6th gear is very much necessary at that point of time, you know. You'll always feel the necessity of a 6th gear. So the same goes for this machine. See, I'm currently riding on the 5th gear. See, here it's indicating I'm on the 5th gear. I don't have any other gear to shift. So there I'd say that Apache did a major mistake. Okay, they should have given us the 6th gear. In high speeds, like when you're riding above 100, you will have a shortage. I'm not saying if you yourself ride this bike, then you'll feel it. So that was a kind of a drawback, you can say, on this machine. The second, again regarding the seat, I'd say there is enough room, I'd say, for the rider to either go back and also you can come front. Okay, there is much of a room for you to move front and behind. And the pillion seat also quite comfortable. There is also enough room for the pillion to sit quite comfortably. So talking of the mirrors is also quite visible and also quite far away from the handlebars. So in most cases what happens is that you get to see half of the you get to see your arm half, and other half you get to see the road. So in this case the mirror is quite visible. You get to see almost everything behind. Now one thing I'll add is which I like personally the most about this bike is the exhaust note of this bike. The sound of the exhaust is very much bold and strong. Not only in this bike but TVS but any other vehicle that TVS produces, the exhaust note is very good. Consider the scooty that TVS Ntorq, then the Apache 160, 180, then this 200, leaving the TVS RR310 that I don't like personally the sound of that machine, but the sound of this machine is gives you kind of a 400cc feeling or even higher. Okay, so I personally like the exhaust note of this machine a lot, and I also like the smoothness of this machine. In spite of having such a gruntier exhaust note, this bike doesn't vibrates much of a lot. Talking about the vibration of this machine doesn't vibrate much of a lot. Now if you ride this bike and now if you redline with this machine, it's very natural that you can get vibrations, and that you'll get to feel the vibration on your hands, that is on the handlebar, and on a little bit on the foot peg. Now I'll talk about the braking of this motorcycle. So the bite of this machine is very good. I'll show you. See, it stopped all of a sudden. As because this is the highway, I'll not do that kind of thing because I can anyway. The vehicles behind me can hit me behind. Okay, so I'll not do that kind of an activity. So yeah, the braking of this bike is very good, and it's also having a dual channel ABS, so you don't have to worry much of a lot about braking. So now I'll share with you the touring review of this machine. As you know, I like to tour a lot with my bike, so I'll always add the touring review of any bike that I test. You can easily tour with this machine, I'd say. Okay, it's very comfortable, it's very smooth, So you can see the position of me is just upright. I'm sitting just upright like this. It's as I've already said, this machine is a sports tourer, so your back won't ache. And you see, you're sitting upright, and there is no point of pressure on your body. So your body is not applying any kind of pressure on the bike. So you are just sitting comfortably, just cruising, holding the throttle, twisting it, and you're going in front. Okay, so that's very nice of this bike. So you can easily tour on this machine. One thing I'd say, that when you are cruising at high speeds, then you will miss the 6th gear positively. Okay. And one thing I'll also add on this machine is that the bike could have given a liquid cooled engine, so that would sound good, and also it would be very technically advanced. So this bike offers oil cooling. Oil cooling, I would say, is not much efficient compared to liquid cooling. Liquid cooling is much better. So that was the second thing I'll add. And the third thing, a very bad it's a con side and a disadvantage of this bike. The side stand of this bike is very short. Yes, the side stand is very short, so the places where you'll face problem is on rugged surface or on uneven surface. You will have problem in parking the bike. So your bike will continuously lean on the left hand side, like as if the bike will just fall. The position at which you'll park the bike, it will look like right now it will fall. Okay, so what you can do is that you can add some path, iron path or steel path at the bottom of the side stand, so that it could be a bit of kind of a say upright. Okay, so that you have to customize later after buying the bike, but normally when you get the delivery of this machine, so it gets a very short side stand. So that was a quick overview of this machine. Other than that, this bike is just awesome. The bike is priced at 1.33 lakh ex-showroom. So I'd say the pricing is quite competitive compared to its rivals. And also the features that this bike provides are among its rivals, nobody else provides this kind of features. So technically this bike is very much advanced compared to its rivals, like the NS200, Duke 200, then even in 250cc categories like your FZ25, Duke 250, the Gixxer SF 250. This bike is very advanced, I'd say. I can say I'm feeling the shortness of the 6th gear. See the benefit of having a slipper clutch. I'll just show you. I'll just shift the gear from 5 to 4, then to 3, and then I'll pull with full throttle. So you saw the benefit of having a slipper clutch. I shifted from 5 to 3 without locking my wheel at high speeds. So that's the benefit of having a slipper clutch. The exhaust note is very soothing to the ear. You know, you can hear the sound of exhaust for a longer amount of time without getting bored. It's so sweet. So that's the end of the review, and my friends are all waiting over here. One thing I'll also add is the exhaust note of this bike. Isn't that nice, right?